During the week, Mr. Lee Hull, a man who dedicated a big part of his life to this great game of softball, said his final goodbyes. He was a big part of these broadcasts from day number one. Now, normally at this stage of the broadcast, we would hear a prediction from Lee. He would probably be right. He would tell us a player he's looking forward to watch, crack a joke, and spill out a few silly nicknames, probably about the umpires. He'd tell us that he's feeling 1,000. Well, we can't do that today, but what we can do is something that Lee would have loved. Watch a game of softball and watch it together. Us here in the Lee Hull broadcast booth, you at home, and everyone at the Diamond together. Someone is going to win today. Someone is going to lose. Heck, Lee might have even predicted a tie. But honestly, it doesn't matter. So let's enjoy the sport that Lee loved so much as a community. A quick moment of silence for the great Lee Hull. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a new CMAX Premier League softball season. And in lieu of talking about sort of the game notes today, and we'll talk about it, of course, as the game goes in, I bring in the other half of the commentary team today, another one of the original members, James Harris. James, how you feeling today?
It's a bit weird, Eric. We've just come off the back of a huge week for Australian Masters games, and then just like that, in a blink of an eye, we're starting the 2023-24 CMAX Premier League season. It is a pleasure to be here with you today, Eric, and thanks for being here and helping me to call what might be a bit of an emotional call today as we honour our great friend Lee Hull, who passed away just a couple of days ago, and we get an opportunity to remember him.
Well, you know what, James? I'm feeling about 1,000 today, so I'm ready. I'm ready to call this game. I'm really looking forward to it. But I know that you've known Lee for a large chunk of your life, maybe 10% of Lee's life in total or so. But when did you first meet Lee Hull? When did you come across him?
Just a 15-year-old kid trying out for my first state team, and not long after that I was selected, and Lee, like many others, became my first state coach. And it was my first ever flight that I went on, and we went over to Perth in Mirrabooka, and although it was a bit of an intense and knowledgeable build up to the tournament, as soon as we stepped foot off the team bus, which he drove, mind you, in Mirrabooka, we knew we were in good hands because he knew everyone, opposition coaches, opposition players, the tournament officials, and it was that point we knew we were in great hands.
We'll get to more of that story in a second, but we're going to join the players on field for a moment of silence for Lee Hull.
Damien McCauley, Softball Australia Hall of Famer, just saying a few words before the moment of silence.
You see the black armbands around all of the players' arms today. That's in honor of Lee Hull, who really did probably have a direct impact on almost every single one of the players on the field today. In fact, he was here calling the game just a few months ago when these teams met in the grand final and then presented the season-end awards and the premiership medals at the end of the game. And it was only, 5-6 months ago?
Yeah, couldn't keep him away from this place, even though he suffered an illness earlier in the year, and he had some time off. As soon as he got the all clear, he was out here calling, and just a couple of weeks ago made himself available for every game this season. He said, "Whenever you need me," he said. And part of the Port Adelaide club as well as a former A-grade coach, and no doubt he would have had some role with West Torrens along the way as well. He did play a part of many clubs.
Well, we'll take a quick look at the batting lineup for West Torrens. They'll bat first. Jordan Harris, Amber Hood, Lana Kaysler, Danny Baxguy, Emma Burridge, Alicia Marchink, Brody Borownik, Harper Bridley, and Jackie Beal. No debutantes for the club, but there's a few key, I guess, omissions or people that are not part of the roster on opening day, and a few people coming back to the roster as well.
Yeah, Steph Trzynski and Kelsey Nucky from the Premiership side from last year are not in the lineup today.
Sophie Hoyle.
Sophie Hoyle as well, yep, so there you go. So 3 Premiership starters, but you look at this lineup and Harper Bridley's actually going to have the bat in hand in this game. Emma Burridge returns to the lineup as well. So for what they've lost, they've also got some pretty good replacements.
Starting pitcher today for Port Adelaide is Liz Angler. We're familiar with her. She was part of the Premiership team that the Magpies won a couple years ago. She is an American that's been living in Germany as she's played Div 1. A great prolific career over in Europe. She's back in South Australia for the summer. Her partner plays baseball. That's the connection here as well. So don't be fooled by the 36 that says Callahan on the back of the jersey. Liz Angler, I can assure you that's her.
Yeah, she'll play the season, and yeah, she played in the European Cup just recently and was a hitter. So watch for her in the lineup for Port Adelaide as well.
Jordan Harris swings at a pitch and knocks it foul. Well, Jordan Harris was a huge inclusion on the side from, well, 2 years ago. She was, she's doing something pretty significant in both of your lives, I would say. But she's becoming a mum, and last year back in the lineup and was a huge impact player, especially down the stretch in the finals round.
Yeah, like riding a bike for George. She hit plus 400. She made the tournament team or the team of the year, and Premiership co-captain with the club.
A bit of a drought-breaking championship for the Eagles last year. She takes a pitch inside. They've been banging on the door for so long.
Yeah, 6 grand final appearances without a win, but the 16th Premiership for the club last season.
Yeah, they're not a stranger to the high-performance section of the CMAX Premier League. And she bashes one up the middle, and repeat of earlier message, Jordan Harris has a hit at the leadoff position. Heard that one before?
Yeah, it's not an uncommon commentary call. Jordan Harris there on the CMAX replay, and we thank CMAX for their support for the 23-24 season, returning major broadcast partner. And if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare today, log on to cmax.com.au. You will hear way more about CMAX throughout the season.
Amber Hood steps up to bat, shows the bunt. You got to be careful. You've got Jordan Harris with some serious wheels over on first base, and Amber Hood is as good as any player in the competition at getting on base. Take a look at all the stat sheets from all of the work that our great statisticians do in this state, and you see Amber Hood's name right up there in the walk leaders, hit leaders almost every single year. It's sort of a luxury that West Torrens have Harris and Hood at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, well, both prolific on-base getters, and Amber will watch and watch and watch all day long. She was one of the league leaders in walks last year, and she goes to a 3-0 count here.
Jordan Harris can score from first on a ball hit, well, I mean, anywhere out of the infield. That's how fast that she has the potential to be.
Amber might watch a couple here as she's gone to a 3-0. And always good to see some pitches early in the season, and Liz Angler actually started off pretty good. She went 0-2 against Harris, and since then it's been all West Torrens.
Yeah, and Harris didn't get all of it, but it was just a nice little drive up the middle, dribbles to the outfield, and a dangerous base runner is aboard.
Well, what's dangerous is the next couple of hitters in the lineup as well. Lana Kaysler on deck circle, and You're only as good as your last at-bat, aren't you?
Full count.
I'm alluding to the home run in the 6th inning for West Torrens.
And we'll meet her very soon. Lana Kaesler standing on deck. And Engler battles back. She fell behind 3-0, but she dials it in with 3 straight strikes. And Amber Hood will pass on some information to the woman of the grand final last year in Lana Kaesler.
Let's look at the C-Max replay. A huge comeback from Engler. She may have taken a little off that one as we saw it dip through the zone. And that just buckled Amber Hood. There's great pitching from Engler. And now that might settle some early nerves for the Magpies.
Lana delivered an iconic performance in March at that grand final.
Yeah, it was the 6th inning that belonged to Kaesler. Defensively, at the top of the inning, she denied Jess Maslin. It was the hardest hit ball for Port Adelaide all night, and she got off the ground and took a catch that would have gone to the fence in the alley, which meant extra bases, potentially putting a runner in scoring position or scoring one. And then at the bottom half of that inning, after Amber Hood walked, drove in that 2-run shot to win them their premiership.
Swing and a miss. She also had the iconic performance in the Gillies Shield a couple tournaments ago that broke that long South Australian drought. So when it's all said and done on Lana's career, there will be no doubts about her performance at the biggest of moments.
Yeah, absolute. Great player to have in a clutch situation.
Hard hit ball over to third. Charlize Callahan zips it across the diamond and gets one. Let's go around the diamond right now with Port Adelaide.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. Liz Engler will be pitching, or is pitching, to Jess Maslin. McKenna Smith is wearing the Grauer uniform over at first base, so some news there. Montana Edwards, a returning player for Port Adelaide, at second. Charlize Callahan at third. Jess Neves at short. And I've been waiting for a while to say this one. On the green grass that's been mown, Zoe Thompson at left, Bianca Ramsey at centre, and Chloe Davis at right. I'm starting to choke up. Just saying one of a Leeism right there.
This isn't going to be the finished product of these Port Adelaide Magpies. The big news for them, though, is losing one of their heart and souls of the club of the last few years, and someone that helped deliver a premiership to them in Yo Grauer. As this ball driven hard by Danny Backsky out to center field, and that will be all she wrote in the top of the first inning for West Torrens. But we're going to talk about the Port Adelaide batting lineup, but this isn't the full roster. They've got 2 imports coming in, including, I've heard she's okay.
Last year's Cath Coral medalist.
And I'm told Jess Golden has been quite insistent that the other import that she's bringing along is better than her.
Yeah, that's a handy pickup as well. So Ben Lucas and the coaching staff at Port Adelaide will be happy with that, seeing as that they lost the likes of Grau, who will be playing for the Glenelg Rebels part-time this year. But in a move over to Glenelg, they had a bit of a hole to fill. But, you know, I'd expect the likes of Gemma Letton to be back in this lineup pretty soon as well. So some handy players to come back into the side.
Bit of a different look than Port Adelaide from what we've been used to in that regular 9. Obviously, no Charlize Callahan, Callahan's in. No Taylor Chillingworth, in the lineup. No
Georgia Bird.
No Georgia Bird. Yep. No Yo Grauer. And no Gemma Letton in this edition of the lineup. So it's Callahan, Neves, Edwards, Maslin, Smith, Ramsey, Engler, Davis, and Thompson. Still some nice young talent, though, coming through in this club. We're going to get a chance to see how they can do in producing and retaining some of those depth players, these Port Adelaide Magpies, in this new era.
Yeah, some big off-seasons for a couple of these players. Charlize Callahan went and played for a Canadian team at the Canada Cup. Zoe Thompson was playing for the Aussie youth team at that same tournament. Chloe Davis made an Aussie squad as well. A couple of them in the schoolgirls teams. The return of Montana Edwards. She was going to be the next big thing. Got a little bit of an illness that just kept her out of the game annoyingly for a couple of seasons, and great to see her return. So, yeah, they've got some good leaders as well in that team, Neves and Bianca Ramsey. So, you know, although they've lost a couple of key players, I think this lineup is still going to challenge any of the teams in the competition.
And Ben Lucas, since he's been at the helm in the last couple years, has really made sure that Port Adelaide are always in a position to succeed when it matters the most. It was no different last year. They've reached that final game a couple years in a row, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it was their first grand final 2 seasons ago, which they won. So that was the first premiership for their club, and then they backed it up 2 years in a row, made the grand final, and well,
they got Trzynski'd.
Yeah, well, they got Kaysled in the end.
Kaysled
although
in the end.
Trzynski through the complete game shutout. Yeah, they really took it to every team in that run home to the finals.
Charlize Callahan leads things off. Harper Bridley pitching. And Bridley started last season, who we sort of expected to be the starting pitcher for West Torrens for most of the year. Steph Trzynski ended up returning from Japan, and they split duties in the second half of the year. But it wasn't really a knock on Harper's efforts.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. She really took the opportunity to be the team's first pitcher, and Trzynski returning from Japan a little earlier than planned. Credit to West Torrens coaching staff. They promised Bridley a starting spot, and she got a fair amount of innings. I think they were going game for game there for a little while, and I'm pretty sure that
smacked over towards left field. It drops right in front of Brody Borovnik in left, and it's a leadoff hit for Charlize Callahan, much like Jordan Harris, who had the leadoff hit for West Torrens when they were batting.
Yeah, can't do any ask more than that from a leadoff to get the team off and running, and Callahan really taking this opportunity to be up at the top of the order as well, with the omission of a couple of those players that we mentioned earlier.
Jess Neves stepping in the second spot in the lineup. It's a tough West Torrens defense. It always has been, but a couple different alterations to the lineup will be interesting. We'll get James after this pitch to go through the defensive alignment of the West Torrens Eagles as Bridley deals the pitch. Fouled back.
Yeah, Bridley pitching to Amber Hood, Danny Baskai at first, Emma Burridge, returning player at second, Lana Kayser at third, Jordan Harris at short, Brody Borovnik, Alicia Marcheng, and Jackie Beale are the 3 outfielders left to right.
Kaysler, Harris, and Burridge have played a lot in that position from second, short, and third. The big one here, and it's nothing against Danny Backsky, is that Kelsey Nucky has been at first base for so long and has been one of the best in the competition, being able, with great range and glove work, to bring in all of that defensive work that they might throw across the diamond. It's different at first base, isn't it?
Yeah, very reliable player that West Torrens would have just lent on all throughout that era that she played. I can tell you, going back the records as far as I could, back to 1996, she has more Team of the Year first base accolades than any other first baser. So, she's just an anchor there at first base that they can rely on as that infield changes around. With Harris off with pregnancy, Burridge into state, Kayser able to go to shortstop, bring in Sophie Hoyle. They're just so versatile, that Eagles infield, but this is one position they've never had to change.
Until now. Flared out into the foul territory. And you're right, that value of first base is so important for that trust factor, especially when you outline those changes in the infield. Sometimes it's a matter of just wanting to throw it in the area and hope that your first basewoman can bring in that ball, which is what Kelsey did for so many years. Neves rolls one foul. Well, Kaysler having to get it on the backhand.
Yeah, good experience, though, coming in to replace her at first is Danny Baskai, former Queensland state representative, and made her way over to Adelaide a few years back, and rival brother Roasters owner-operator as well, so some great coffee. You can get it down here at the ballpark. And but what concerns me, she uses that outfielder's glove for a first baser's glove. Maybe she'll make a change. She told me that her mother bought her that. It's been her first and only glove she's ever owned.
Good job from Harper Bridley to battle back. That's a strikeout for her first one of the season.
Well, that is a repeat of the earlier message. That's exactly how West Torrens got off to a start. A single and then a KC.
Well, here is Montana Edwards. James, that was someone who you really circled in that lineup when they were given to us earlier this afternoon.
She was such a great junior player, and as she was breaking through and into the senior grades, we lost her, but it's so good to see her back from the sport. She's got a really good swing, a good eye as well. She made a bit of a name for herself with Glenelg, and they played in the year they played in the grand final. I'm pretty sure she was there.
Ground ball over to Kaesler, scoops, fires, and repeat of earlier message, because this game for both teams has gone leadoff single, strikeout looking, and a ground out to third.
Never seen that before.
This is bizarre.
Some strange things going on.
So can we lock in Jess Maslin flying out to center field?
You know what? If you got to pick a batter to fly out to centre field, it might be Jess, but she's got the capability of putting over centre field as well.
Big power from Maslin over the last, well, forever she's played. Made the move to Port Adelaide. This is her third season over as a Magpie. Seacombe temporarily had their program disappear from the Division I ranks. It's back in the CMAX Premier League, but Maslin has remained at Port Adelaide, and she's won a premiership here. She hasn't not gone to a grand final since she's been at Port Adelaide.
I'll give you an interesting stat, and thanks to Lindy Radigan and her team of statisticians who provide us with the stats each and every year, and hello to Marcy and Julie who join us to our left. Jess Maslin absolutely robbed of a Team of the Year gig last year. But only one of 3 batters to bat over 500 for the season, and she missed out, unfortunately. But a bit of a utility player, so maybe the coaches didn't see her in any one specific position. And rightly so, hits in the 4th spot for Port Adelaide.
And her danger's really going to increase when Jess Golden gets back, and they can just sandwich them together and offer protection for each other. You see that powerful swing. She'll probably slot out to left field. Golden back at catching. Maslin was sort of joking about that pregame when she was catching some warm-up pitches from Liz Angler, saying, thank goodness I'm not here for long. But she's a catcher by trade, Jess Maslin. She's
ever reliable in so many positions. A true utility.
Well, we've seen her play first base before. We've seen her at third. We've seen her at left. We've seen her at catcher, all in sort of big games.
Yep. Yeah, I think that probably rounds it out, her key positions there. But change of sport, isn't she a pitcher in baseball?
She can pitch in baseball. She plays third base in baseball, DH in baseball, goes out in the outfield. She's the same in sort of the one that you just know that wherever you put her, you're going to get performance. And a swing and a miss. So Harper Bridley gets 2 strikeouts after allowing a leadoff pitch. And this is truly shaping up like a tussle between the 2 grand finalists of the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's a big swing and a miss. Bridley has hit the spot there on the CMAX replay. So great start from both teams, getting a runner on base. But then defensively, you know, that's why these 2 teams have been in the top half. Or the top 2 teams of the last 2 years, because they can get it done defensively.
Well, James, great to be back down here at the ballpark. I loved walking in. And what I love about coming to the field is that community spirit. Everybody here is volunteering their time in the name of the sport. Everyone from you and I, who have the easy job of calling the game, to the people in the canteen, to getting the ground set up at their clubs themselves. And that was something that Lee, I think, really did pride himself on, was his service to the sport.
Service to the sport. The man became a legend after a tick shy of 50 years of service. He started in 1978, recruited by Softball SA life member and Hall of Famer Tula Connolly to coach the Ingle Farm Club in the Central Districts Association. And it wasn't before long that he's part of the Softball SA programs, a senior instructor of primary schools program that he held for 8 years, and really in the school programs where he really started to develop his coaching legend status, in that he was the state schoolgirls coach. He went to Aussie Sports Expos, Indigenous softball program camps, talent ID recruitment, inclusive softball programs for Minder homes, and also he worked with West Torrens head coach Terry Lamery at Sassy with the high performance programs. But it wasn't just as a coach that he gave back, and you know, we could probably talk all day about the volunteer service that he gave back too.
Leading things off in the inning is
Emma Burridge.
the big return of Emma Burridge back in the lineup.
Yeah, he he received the highest recognition of the contribution made by any person at the state association level, and that is life membership back in 2019, if memory serves me correctly. And he was also volunteer of the year back in 2016 for he had a massive year. It's a long list of things that he did for our sport in that year. He was master of ceremonies for a bunch of our events, including opening and closing ceremonies, Australian Masters Games, Pacific School Games, John Reed Shield we hosted that year as well.
Slashed over to the right field. Is it going to stay fair? It'll drip foul.
But also his time spent on the state teams committee as well. And, you know, he'd help out with the grounds, and he was Johnny everywhere, really. And that was the year that we started our broadcasting as well with Spacequake Sports. So it was a massive year for Lee.
Swing and a miss. Liz Engler with her second strikeout of the game. She had that leadoff single, and then she had 3 straight balls to Amber Hood. But since then, strikeout, ground out, fly out, strikeout. So here in the CMAX Premier League season, Liz Engler making an early impact. Yeah, I remember Lee as Alicia Marchink coming up to bat. I remember him very well when he was winning that Volunteer of the Year award at the end-of-year function.
Yep. At the awards
he was
night.
One proud guy.
Well, the weird thing was we had to get him off the mic because he normally would MC those events as well. And
it was weird, right?
Yeah, and so we told him, look, you got to be a guest tonight. You know, we want you to sit there front and center. And I think this one goes foul. I think he may have actually taken offense slightly that he wasn't asked to be MC.
It was like it shouldn't have been really a surprise, and like all the signs were there, but either he was a good actor or he was actually surprised.
Another foul. Yep, the guy that took over he was only there for 1 year, but he was a bit of a part-time comedian, and I think Lee even said that he had better jokes than him. So yeah, not to be outdone, we saw him back on the mic again pretty soon after that. We always would get him to present an award at that night, but always great to have him along as a guest.
Alicia Marchink trying to battle away here. A couple strikes against her. Swing and a miss. Liz Engler. She is grooving right now. I think we'll get a look at this pitch on the CMAX replay.
She's really shown that she's got an off-speed weapon here. This one comes through.
It just falls off a cliff.
Yeah, it's a nice pitch from Engler.
As a batter, when you're standing in there, is Brody Borovnik. Comes up to bat. Now, Brody was very close to Lee Hull. The whole Borovnik family was. I know she was excited to get back on the field and just play today.
Yeah, very close to a lot of people, actually, Lee Hull, but one of the families extremely close was the Borovniks.
She's behind 0-2. Liz Engler looking to strike out the side. Drives one up high. You saw Maslin try to finesse it a little bit behind the plate. They tried to sell the call. Nobody bought.
Yeah, she's been doing well, getting in front of the count here, Engler.
And there it is. She strikes out the side. She's got that ball dancing right now, Liz Engler. 4 strikeouts and no runs allowed so far. And that will sit down the side. You see, look at the CMAX replay again.
I reckon Coach Lamory may have picked that up as well. She'll have a word to her batting lineup when they come in after this defensive inning, just to say, you know, you can either sit on it knowing that she can throw it for a 3rd strike, but it's a dangerous game to play because Engler's got a bit of pace as well, so it might muck up your timing. So might be better to get after her earlier in the count.
We know the Borovniks were close with Lee. A lot of people were close with Lee, but I know it was really cool to see all the outpouring of love and support. And I know that his kids, Hannah, Sophie, and Josh, they all, I know, really have appreciated seeing all the messages online, all the messages they've received, everything that they've seen across, and people sharing stories of Lee and the posts or the comments, the photos, whatever form that may be. I think they can safely know how much of an impact that their dad had on not just them, but also on the whole community that that he was part of. And that's what I mean, I'm going to miss him sitting here in between games and telling us proudly some softball results of his grandkids playing all the way up north and everything in between. So just wanted to acknowledge his kids, his grandkids. I think they all really have appreciated seeing all those messages.
So proud of both his kids and his grandkids. He would often tell stories about how proud he was and what they were doing next. Jackson, his grandson, just got named in the state under-14 boys team. So the whole legacy for state representation lives on.
Harper Bridley back in the circle.
This is the first time seeing this player, McKenna Smith.
And a big spot for her to be in, sitting in the middle of the lineup. She's wearing Grauer's number and in Grauer's batting position somewhere at the 4 or 5 spot.
Yeah.
But this will be the part of the lineup where the Magpies need to show something. Is this up the middle? It's a hard hit ball. And as I say that ball's then thrown away, and McKenna Smith was thinking about stretching it. She's got to get back to first. A little bit of early season bumbles across the board on that play.
It was a funny play, wasn't it? I've got some work to do. I haven't done any research on McKenna Smith, but we see that ball got up the middle, and Harris on that bounce just got handcuffed a little. Emma Burridge thought about throwing it and then threw it late, a little bit of an overthrow. Then Smith looked for the extra base. Let's have a look here at another view on the C-Max replay. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of first game nerves still out there.
You want to? We know what we're going to get from Callahan, Neves, Edwards, and Maslin in that top 4, but it's that bottom 5 in the lineup. Someone at some point, if Port Adelaide are going to win this game, are going to need to make an impact on this contest.
Well, we've said it for years and years, haven't we? The bottom half of the lineup, whoever's team performs best in the bottom half of the lineup usually wins, don't they?
Well, I know this was one of Lee's favorite players to watch in Bianca Ramsey. Always like to comment on how much sneaky power that she had in driving the balls.
Go back to Walkerville's premiership a few years back. She popped up for a couple of hits. An unlikely hero. Bit more experience now and still only early 20s.
And she plays baseball at Sturt, which is significant to Lee because Lee would actually go every Sunday and watch the Sturt women's team go and play. It wasn't too far from his house. And Bianca Ramsey, a key part of that Sturt program as well. So he's just a big fan of the Ramsey name, I think.
Well, big fan of sport. He used to love his basketball and softball. He kept a close eye on the footy as well.
So a 3-1 count to Harper Bridley, who's been battling in the counts a little bit, but effective so far. Jammed over to first. This could be 2. They'll make the first play. It was Baskai scooping it up, getting the lead runner, so it'll go down as a fielder's choice.
Let's have a look at the C-Max replay. Great play from Baskai. She made the right move, and in her first play as a first base player, just shortened the arm on the throw, but a great backhand pick up. Harris keeps the foot on the plate, on the base, and makes the force out.
Liz Engler up to bat.
It fascinates me. She's batting 7 in the lineup for Port Adelaide, but she's probably had the best pre-season out of anyone on this diamond in that she played in Europe this year, played in the European Cup.
NCAA veteran.
Yeah, and she played that European Cup as a hitter. So
she's got huge numbers everywhere she's gone, except for one place with the bat.
Yeah, we don't need to dwell on her numbers from the one season she played here, but she was part of the premiership team, so let's leave it at that.
And played big first base during that premiership. But the point is that I think that was a bit of an anomaly, a bit of an outlier in her body of work, so I'm expecting some big things from Liz Engler with the bat this year.
Well, we know she can do it, and she's got a good swing. That was just a check swing, but if she plays a full season, you watch for her name up the top of the numbers for Port Adelaide this season. There's my early prediction for the year.
I don't mind that at all. Couple strikes on her, though, for Harper Bridley. Swing and a miss, so Bridley with her third strikeout. Both Engler and Bridley going toe-to-toe right now, each allowing just that one hit so far. Few strikeouts.
Yeah, here's the C-Max replay. She kept it low, and Engler got a taste of her own medicine there, I think, on a little bit of an off-speed pitch.
Chloe Davis up to bat.
Junior state representative.
Is it advantage pitcher or hitter in that first game of a season or early season in your experience, James, coming out of that preseason after not playing for 5-6 months?
Well, for me, there is no better preparation for a season than to get some at-bats in. And you know, the pitchers are rolling over every week, but the batters might not be seeing it from the hand. They're definitely not seeing it on the dirt. So it's a different backdrop. It's a different feel. Whereas the pitchers, just pitching off a plate. Just go for it. Pitch it to the spot. So I think advantage pitcher for the first game of the year.
Especially when you're a batter, you seem to get better as the season goes on. When you get a little bit more data, if you can get in a groove, you can start to feel out what the pitcher's throwing in that season.
Timeout called from catcher Amber Hood. Just on that point, this was the first year we hadn't run a fully loaded or preseason competition in a little while. And, you know, that might be telling for some of the players. But, you know, that was a program set up for the state team representatives. So it wasn't every player in every team that were getting those at-bats. But, yeah, maybe everyone starts from a clean slate this year. Don't know if any clubs had organised any preseason games. No words come through or past my desk.
I'm sure there's been some inter-squad games, but it's not really the same. Oh, 2 base runners on now as Chloe Davis is aboard. And Zoe Thompson with 2 outs and 2 runners on in a scoreless game. Remember, this is a 90-minute game, and we're already half an hour into the game. Zoe Thompson, who's sort of making a name for herself, has a chance to say, I'm here right now.
Yep, speedy. See her in the left-handed batter's box, a natural right-hander. So the runners on first and second.
First time there's been that runner in scoring position in this game. It's Bianca Ramsey at second, too, who's a bit of an athlete as well.
We did see Charlize Callahan get to third on a pass ball in the bottom half of the first inning.
Right.
9-hitter Thompson. Has been in and out of the A-grade lineup for Port Adelaide, but still just a teenager.
And starting to get some national recognition, too.
Yeah, and part of that state schoolgirls team that won the national title earlier this year in May, I think.
Pitch up high, so good watching from Zoe Thompson. Still looking for the first run of the C-Max Premier League season. Again, holds off a pitch, so a good hitter's count here for Thompson.
Yeah, well, first walk of the ball game saw Chloe Davis make her way up to first. Another walk here would load the bases and go back to the top of the lineup for Callahan.
Swing and a miss. That was a good pitch from Harper Bridley. Had that drop on it at the last second, so full count. Runners in scoring position. Scoreless game so far. Big pitch coming up here. Look at the C-Max replay. Full count. It's in the dirt. Runner will hold at third, but the bases are juiced. 2 walks.
Yeah, watch
error.
this one get away from Amber Hood as well. So the threat was there. She was quickly on it. It's the difference there for a catcher that is quick on the pass ball, denying Port Adelaide that chance to maybe sneak one home. But I think they're in good hands here with Callahan. Already has a hit in this game.
And she has been known for her big moments, Charlize Callahan.
Yeah, player of the final in their premiership winning year.
Now, I know this is game number 1 of the season, but the margins between the top clubs over the last few years have been so razor thin. I know teams aren't at full strength right now, but when you have these 2 top teams playing, these games could make a big difference at the end of the year.
Yeah.
In the dirt, it's a pass. Whoa! And there you talk about that as a catcher, James. That's the position that you play. I mean, how do you find that ball so quickly at your feet? Because that would have just saved a run from Amber Hood if she doesn't find it quick enough.
Played. The top catchers have a sense for where the ball goes from the field, how it comes off the body, how it comes off the glove. You've got to keep your eye on it the whole time. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a broken thumb or a bruised palm. You know, it's just one of those things that you develop over time.